Joining us on
Hannah Murray on TRE in the afternoon.
the line now is Karolina Gerlich. She is the Chief Executive of the Care Workers charity. It is Carers Week in the UK. Karolina is a former care worker herself who regularly briefs MPs and government on social care workforce policy. They're celebrating a long overdue moment of national recognition for unpaid carers and hoping the conversation will also include England's 1.6 million paid care workers who stand alongside them in every home, care home and community in the country. Welcome to the show, Karolina.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us and happy Carers Week.
Thank you. Happy Carers Week to you too.
Thank you. So tell us why this was set up, Carers Week. What was the need to have a week to celebrate the amazing work that carers are doing and to highlight the issues and the lack of pay that a lot of them are getting or not getting?
Yeah, so I think Carers Week there being for family carers, family and friends who support people in unpaid capacity, support the family members and friends, giving them what they need every day, mainly because there isn't enough social care provision in the country for everybody who needs it. So we have paid workforce, care workers, like you mentioned, 1.6 million across England, who get paid very little as £12.60 an hour, just around minimum wage. But we don't have enough of them. Government doesn't pay for enough access to social care. Therefore, so many family members around the country have to do care and support as well, unpaid, a lot of the time on top of their jobs or having to give up their jobs to do it. So it is quite a big issue.
Yeah, absolutely. I was shocked to see the amount of money that carers who are being paid are getting, because it's such an important and difficult job. There's a lot of migrants that end up doing care work. So you can kind of see that there aren't queues and queues of people wanting to do it.
No, and I think big part of it is just the huge responsibility that sits on care workers' shoulders, going to work, having to support people's lives and well-being, particularly in dom care, being solely responsible for that person's life. And then it's not the kind of job you can leave at the doorstep and just walk away from it. You form relationships, you form attachments, and you care about people, and you go home and you continue worrying about them. Mm-hmm. So to do that on minimum wage, I think is incredibly unjust and unfair. When we're asking people, migrants, for example, to come over here, leave their families behind because they're no longer allowed to bring dependents in and support people here, but not really having a right to a family or to a good quality of life, because on such low pay, people can barely make ends meet, let alone have a good quality of life.
Yeah. I read the information that was sent over to me, talking about how the large percentage of, so what was it, care workers and their families are nearly twice as likely to live in poverty as the average UK worker. There are people that are going to other people's homes and making their breakfast, cleaning, washing them, getting them out of bed, doing all these kinds of really important, crucial tasks to get these people through the day, and then going home and not having food in their own fridge. It's heartbreaking and so wrong.
It is absolutely. We do annual research on well-being of care workers. Research from last year showed that 22% use food banks. And like you say, people go to work, care workers go to work hungry, making sure that other people eat. Then they go home and have a cold shower because they can't afford to pay for hot water. And they make sure they prioritize the children. So, they'll feed them first before eating. They don't get a break because they're working extra hours to earn just a little bit extra to cover the very basic needs. At the charity, we do financial support for care workers. And over the last 6 years, we've had to pay out over £6.6 million to almost 14,000 care workers to support them. And this is around basic needs. We're not talking sending people on a nice holiday, not at all. We're talking fixing people's cars so they can get to work, paying for some groceries because they're out maxed on the credit cards, and maybe helping them pay an electric bill or buy a new washing machine. So very basic needs not being covered with pay, because it's so low, for people that are responsible for making other people feel better and supporting their lives and well-being.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing that you've been able to help people in that way. So where does your money come from? Is that from donations?
Yes, so we get quite a lot of donations from the public. We get some donations from different organizations and companies in the sector. People do skydives for us, tea parties, a lot of different engagements individually. People run. So every little helps. Every small donation, big donation make a big difference. Our average grants are around £500, and that £500 can make a massive difference to a life of a care worker and their family. So then they can go on and help supporting people.
Yeah, it's amazing what you said about, the money going towards important things like getting a new washing machine or fixing a car. It doesn't go towards holidays, as if a holiday would be such a bad thing. I mean, these people need a holiday more than most, I'd say.
Absolutely, and that's one of the issues. Care workers are by nature very giving. They prioritize themselves over anybody else. They often won't take annual leave because they're worried, because there's shortage. There are a lot of vacancies in the sector, so they don't take annual leave because they're worried they'll leave people without care and support in place because there'll be nobody to fill in their shifts. So they run themselves to the ground supporting people, and they can't even afford to have a short holiday, which is a problem, because that shouldn't be an extra. That should be, again, part of your basic requirements to have a break, especially from such a responsible job.
Yeah, absolutely. And that should be set up in all industries. The idea of feeling that you can't go on holiday because things will fall apart without you being there. If you're responsible for somebody's life and getting them up out of bed, I totally understand why people will think, well, I can't go on holiday. If there's nobody to fill that position, then you just couldn't, could you? It's not like being in an office job and them getting a temp in or just other people in the team filling in the position. If there is no one to do it, then you'd feel like you couldn't ever take a day off. That's awful.
And it affects the lives of people who draw on care and support, and unpaid carers as well, the lack of care workers. But it's the societal perception that care work is unskilled and there are no careers, which isn't true at all. Care workers are highly skilled. There are a lot of career opportunities. But unfortunately, the pay conditions don't really show that. And I think what the public doesn't realize is how relationship-based social care is. You go and support somebody for weeks, months, sometimes years and decades at the time. You build very strong relationships. You start thinking them as of your family. You really care about what happens to them. You think about them when you leave work, making sure that they're okay. So social care is really about relationships, not wiping bums the way most people think about it. Although wiping bums is important and not everybody can do it. No. And it takes a skill to do it well as well. Yeah. So even that activity that people frown upon is quite important. So yeah, I think it's very important for the general public to understand that most of us will be in touch with social care at some point with our lives, either for ourselves or our relatives. And it's important to be writing to MPs, to be talking to politicians, to making a voting matter. Because so many people are affected by it. Yeah, the social side of things is really important, isn't it? And you're right, if the idea of thinking about a loved one, someone that you know and love being cared after by a care worker, someone else, you'd want to hope that they're really nice and really kind and they do build up a relationship with your loved one. The idea of a care worker just appearing at the house and doing a job and leaving, they're not like that. They do get to know the person and become invested in them and their family very often. It's much more than a job, isn't it? It absolutely is. It takes certain values and a very giving attitude to be able to do it. But when you are on low pay and you're constantly worried about very basic things in life, it's much harder to push yourself to give more and more every day when you go home hungry, when your kids are upset because you can't afford very basic things for them. So it's quite important for us to think about well-being of care workers being in direct correlation to the quality of care they can deliver. It's an unfair expectation to ask a care worker, give outstanding care to my parents, but you're only going to get minimum wage, and it doesn't really matter to us whether you've paid your bills or not.
Yeah. Yeah. So what can be done? You mentioned voting and MPs and things there. For people listening that agree with us that this is totally unfair and unjust, what can we do about it?
Like I said, writing to your local MP, raising it as an issue, because they only talk about what they think their constituents care about, and it needs to be at volume. And letters about social care really have to start outnumbering letters about potholes and bins, because that is in many ways more important. Then donating to charities like ours, so we can continue supporting care workers while we continue advocating, campaigning to improve conditions and investment to the sector from central government, and how local authorities commission social care. And if you know somebody who's a care worker or an unpaid carer, just say thank you and acknowledge what an amazing job they do, because not many of them get it. Many of them get, oh, you're just a carer or you're just a care worker. You're obviously not ambitious enough to have a better job. And we need to appreciate what an important job they do.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Well, if people want more information on the amazing work that carers do and also want to donate some money, that would be fantastic. The website is thecareworkerscharity.org.uk. Is that the best place to send people to, yeah?
That is the best place. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much for being with us, Karolina Gerlich, from the Chief Executive of the Care Workers Charity. Thank you very much, Karolina.
Thanks so much for having me. Bye.